What it is, Daniacs. I'm here doing a reaction to this lady right here. She's got a video called How to Meet God. Her channel is Juliana Grace Art, or Juliana Garces Art. Okay, you see it right there. Y'all can read. I don't know how to pronounce that shit. So I've been following her for a little bit, but I really like this video right here, and I wanted to jump on in it with y'all in this video right here. Now, YouTube has been doing its bullshit and erasing my comments already. I had to already come back here and repost some comments that in the comments I wanted to use as notes to help me during my reaction to this video right here. So let's get on into it. This lady has a very unique perspective of what God is. Spoiler alert, she's not talking about the Abrahamic God. Okay, and I like it. I like her perception and her expression. And let's get on into it. Let's get on in it.
Experience when everything else falls away. Let's explore this concept in this video. And if you're new here, my name is Juliana, and make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this on all things mystical. Of course, needless to say, this is just sharing my own personal experiences and opinions. Deep respect for everybody else's perspective, but in my own journey, I found God to be a presence, an awareness, a deeper dimension where everything in this reality surges from and is part of. And here we're really moving away from religion and dogma, even though I do firmly believe that all religions based on love, the center, of course, is God. And I consider myself someone that could go to any religious center, church, temple, and as long as there's love and the feeling of the divine, I would have a great time there. But I find Source, God, as such an inspiring experience. I am a visionary artist and have devoted many years of my life in the impossible attempt to paint God, or aware that it is impossible, and have painted God as light, as Shiva, as Ganesha, as Buddha.
If you come back, one of those first paintings that she showed. Look, hold on.
A presence, an awareness, a deeper dimension where everything in this reality surges from and is part of. And here we're really moving away from religion and dogma, even though I do firmly believe that all religions based on love, the center, of course, is God. And I consider myself someone that could go to any religious center, church, temple, and as long as there's love and the feeling of the divine, I would have a great time there. But I find Source, God, as such an inspiring experience. I am a visionary artist and have devoted many years of my life in the impossible attempt to paint God, or aware that it is impossible, and have painted God as...
All right, so this one right here to the right, okay? This one right here to the right on that side. My right could be your left viewing since it's inverted, but whatever. This one right here where it's in the lotus position now. If you look at that, I actually have something super similar to that for the thumbnail for my theology. For a lot of my theology videos, it'll say dark light theology versus Christianity versus Islam versus Judaism. But and this is my first time seeing these paintings as well, but that's what she kind of snuck them in there, and I'm like, real quick, I'm like, wait, that's actually super similar to something I've already done. So if you go back and look at some of my recent posts, you will see the picture that I'm talking about. That's super similar to that right there. So and that's no accident. That's no coincidence. That is like a common perception of the expression of God. And so I just thought that was interesting. This is my first time seeing these paintings. You are a very talented artist, Miss Thang. I'm an artist myself, and so I can definitely appreciate that. That's some good shit right there, homie.
light as Shiva, as Ganesha, as Buddha, as the man with the white beard, and all the famous symbols. I've painted it as diamond temples, as a feeling. And still, I have never run out of more inspiration because it is so infinite. And it has deeply drawn me in my inner travels and my inner experiences, in my meditation, in my work with plant medicines, into deeply questioning how does one portray that? How does one communicate that? Where it's recognizable but not cliche. And of course, I've done.
Well, see, all expression is his expression. So, guess I need to throw my cards on the table. I'm a non-Abrahamic true monotheist, and just real quickly, I was raised as neo-pagan, essentially. But from I don't know, about 15 to about 34, I claimed spiritual, which I started to really think about it, and I'm like, you know what, spiritual is just very vague, and it's kind of like a catch-all for any kind of divergent theology, you know. So I really started thinking about it, and around, I don't know, 34, 35 or so, I started claiming non-Abrahamic true monotheist, and even though that's still not specific enough, but that got me a little bit closer because I do essentially believe in a construct of the one true creator, although I do not come to my beliefs and perceptions through the broken theology of Abraham. And what makes the theology of Abraham broken is that it incessantly attempts to interject divisions into that which is united. And they do this through constructs such as sin, such as Satan, such as hell, such as the saved versus the damned, such as the world versus God's kingdom, such as the kingdom of light versus the kingdom of darkness. All these different juxtaposed constructs is what weakens the theology of Abraham. So Yahweh, Jesus, and Allah are desert war gods of hypocrisy. They are not the actual one true creator. No, no. And followers of Abraham are essentially a blood cult of sin worshippers. There is no sin. See, watch, when I said that, so I've called, I've been calling them that, and of course I call them that to their face, followers of Abraham, and I've had them say, what are you talking about? I'm not a sin worshiper. I don't worship sin, and I don't know anyone that worships sin. Okay, so if you're one of those people that have that stance, what is your reaction when I say this? There is no sin. Okay. So most likely your reaction was, of course there's sin. We are homogeneously saturated in sin. There is sin everywhere. How can you not believe in sin? So if you find yourself saying that, that is a clue, that is an indication that you actually do worship sin, because there is no sin. The one true creator is a perfect creator. The one true creator created every single thing, every quanta and every void within reality is his creation. There is no miscreation. All creation is his creation, and as such all of creation is perfect, and as such there is no sin. Okay, and if you are a person who believes in hell, let's evaluate that. Hell, the proposed hell from Christians, is a state in which you are separate from the one true creator. But this proposed state is impossible because the one true creator is a perfect creator. There is no state in which you are separate from him. Now, as co-creators, you can imagine, you can role play a state of separation, but this is not true separation. This is not. There is no such thing as true separation. So that kind of brings me into some of my dark light theology here, my dark lightism, as I'm calling it. The book is being wrote. So we have empirically verified traits that I use to describe God, the Decalogue, the dark lightism Decalogue. So we have unity, consciousness, dark, light, and paradox. Okay, that is the first five. And the first five fractalizes into the second five of the Decalogue: freedom, infinity, sovereignty, remembrance, and saturation. Okay, so notice I said the first 5 fractalizes into the second 5. That is because the second 5 overlays into the first 5. Okay, that's the fractalization of it, and let's evaluate that. So unity is freedom in resonance. Consciousness is infinity in resonance. Dark is sovereignty in resonance. Light is remembrance in resonance. Paradox is saturation in resonance. Okay, so all consciousness, which is light, is an extension of the omniconsciousness, which is dark. All motion is an extension of stillness. All sound is an extension of silence. All creation is an extension of destruction. All life is an extension of death. Okay, so I also call this the fractal singularity omnimatrix, the one within the all, the dark within the light. And God is living through our lives. As such, we are all God experiencing itself through our lives. All life is the living death. So the eternally living God is also the eternally dying God, because all of life is death. Every passing moment is a micro death, adding up to our inevitable macro death, as a fractal expression of the one true creator. All right, so that's just getting into some of my theology. Let's roll with it, homie.
And some of the cliche versions as well. But God truly, to me, is an experience. It's a vibration. It's a knowing. It's a dimension that is nowhere else but here in this moment.
Well, it is self-awareness, which there are meta levels to. Okay, just like, see, the only difference between an atom within the table of elements is that it compounds within itself. It fractalizes. Okay, and that is meta traits built into all of creation, all the way down to the atomic and subatomic levels. So there are levels to all things. There are levels to atoms. There are levels to awareness. There are levels to depth, distance, and space.
Almost like we are sitting at the top of consciousness, the pinnacle, the mountaintop, but we're just distracted by a fancy hologram. But we're already there. It's nowhere else but here. And
see, this is the multiplicity within the singularity. This is the multiplied within the division. Okay, so what I mean by that is, let's examine consciousness, for example. Okay, so we as sentient singularity sovereign beings, we think of ourselves as an individual consciousness. Yet the individual consciousness that we call ourself is actually made up of I don't want to put a number on it. It's not infinite, but a vast amount of components of smaller individualized consciousness, such as our atoms and cells. Every atom has its own consciousness. Every cell has its own consciousness. And the smaller and individual consciousness of every single cell and atom within our body compounds and compounds to result in that which we call our individual consciousness.
one of my own challenges throughout my spiritual journey was feeling at a certain point God was something external, and feeling like it was something or someone that I had.
And this is a point where followers of Abraham, this is what I'm talking about. This is another thing where they are what makes the theology of Abraham broken, because they constantly project God as something apart from and separate from you. This is inaccurate. God is something that is intrinsically a part of you and within you. It is not separate and without. It is intrinsic and within. Okay, and they do this in order to manipulate people into relinquishing their divine sovereignty unto the systems and establishments created by the Abrahamic religions in order to control. So the Quran, the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran are all idols because they claim to be the exclusive source of divine revelation. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran, okay? Because they are totems. Totems are beautiful things. Totems are meant to serve as inspiration for anyone looking upon it to search within for their own unique individual connection to the actual one true creator. Divine sovereignty is our inseparable connection to the one true creator. Divine sovereignty is the source of divine revelation. Okay, divine sovereignty is the source of divine revelation, not these books, not these totems, okay? And the moment that you say that this physical thing, this totem, is the source of divine revelation, you then elevate that totem to an idol, which is often the case of what followers of Abraham do. They will go around saying, this book right here is the source of divine revelation. And at that moment, you transform that beautiful totem into a horrific idol. They don't like hearing that. They don't like hearing that because followers of Abraham have commandments, they have instructions, they have scriptures that tell them that they must kill anyone worshiping an idol. Okay, so when I bring up that, hey, actually, little buckaroo, that book you got right there is an idol. When I bring that up, they automatically think by projecting, because they're projecting, because they want to kill people that worship idols. So when I bring up a very good argument that their books are idols, they automatically assume that I want to kill them. No, I don't have any scriptures demanding that I kill idol worshippers or idolaters. But since you guys like to go around pointing your fingers, calling everyone else an idol worshiper, I happen to have a very solid argument as to why you are an idol worshiper. And I'm just bringing it up. Hey, what's up? What's up? Come get some. I am the brightest night. I am the darkest light, and I am ascending, as are we all. The dark light is upon you. Dark light delirium. What's up, motherfuckers? Let's go. Let's talk about it. We are all brothers within the Godhood. Let's talk about it. We are all sentient singularities within the Godhood.
Search for, and the more connected I am to that energy, I do see it in everything more and more each day, but also very deeply in myself. I think that's a very healing insight for me, is knowing it's not anything apart from me. It is in me, it is part of me, it is part of everything. And one of the most beautiful outcomes of that has been feeling the oneness with everybody, with everything, with nature, and especially with looking into other people's eyes. The more I do
that is why the number one verified, empirically verified trait that I use to describe God is unity. That there's a reason why they are in the order that they are in. Unity. Dottie. Get in here. Dottie, come here. Dottie, come here. Dottie, come here. Dottie, come here. Come here, baby. Come here. Dottie, get in here. PJ, get in here. Sorry, y'all. PJ, get in here. Dottie, come on, baby. Dottie. Dottie, you need to come here. Come on. You're okay. You're okay. Come on. You're okay. Come on. Get in here. Come on. Come on, baby. Get in there. PJ, get in there. I need all you guys in here. Lay down. Lay down. You fucking guys, man. You fucking guys, dude. I swear to fucking God, man. That's why I don't let you guys run around, man. Fucking bullshit, dude. Fuck.
Practices, the more I dwell in this beautiful energy, the more when I look very deeply into another human's eyes, the more I can't help but see the divine there. And not only the divine, but a mirror of oneness and, of course, a lot of love. And that's the thing, like, it doesn't really matter, or the more I go forward If someone knows all the spiritual vernacular and the scriptures and the mantras and the rituals, but beyond that, the divine's already in each person, and it's just a beautiful reflection of that. That's led to so much compassion and so much reverence for every soul, every human that I encounter, and it's been such a beautiful thing, which is the reason I'm sharing it with all of you, because maybe you'll feel it too. And some of the biggest blockages to actually experiencing this beautiful energy, the divine, the infinite self within everything, is not only the concept of it being separate, because it being somewhere else creates instantly a separation, but also a lot of mental noise. The more mental noise, the more we are in thoughts, the more we avoid stillness. And I understand sometimes stillness can be scary, because in stillness, oftentimes when we sit with ourselves, when we sit in silence, when we meditate, things arise.
As extensions of the one true creator, we are sons of silence. We are sons of stillness. We are sons of darkness. And also, we are sons of sound. We are sons of motion. We are sons of light. Because there is a paradoxical link between all these things, hidden within the resonance of unity.
Things rise maybe that we've hidden under the carpet. But that's the only way to really clean it out. And once we've cleaned everything out from under our carpet, we can see that it's all us. It's all us. And it's safe. And you'll be greeted by falling into a cliff, greeted by a pillow of flowers.
See, it is a theory of mine as part of the fractal singularity omnimatrix, okay? There is no motion. All motion is an illusion. There is no sound. All sound is an illusion. There is no light. All light is an illusion. Because all things exist at the same time and place simultaneously. This is the fractal singularity omnimatrix, okay? So, we've all heard about the speed of light, okay? But that is, the speed of light is actually an inverted perception. We are not actually observing the speed of light. We are observing the pressure of darkness. Okay? And there are near infinite dimensions. Where are the other dimensions, you might ask? Well, if you adjust the speed of light, also known as the pressure of darkness, just the slightest fraction, okay, that then puts you into a different dimension. Now, that's just theory. Now that's just theory, but I'm working on it. I'm working on all that. But it's an interesting theory. It's fun, ain't it? Yeah.
At the bottom of love. So oftentimes we have to work through our fears and work past them to be embraced to the glory of what lies on the other side of fear, which is fearlessness, which is love. And another major challenge is a challenge of identity. The more we identify and solidify with our particular idea of ourselves, our ego, our avatar, the harder it is to realize.
See, now, this is a common perception among so many spiritual people and just kind of the zeitgeist of at least Western perception in general, if not the entire, most of the entire world. They have this misperception of what the ego is, okay? See, the ego is like your RFID chip for your consciousness, which allows locality. Your ego is the thing that allows locality within the infinite sea of silence, within the infinite sea of consciousness. Okay, it allows localized consciousness. Without your ego, localized consciousness could not exist. Okay, we are all God experiencing itself. God is living through our lives. We are all co-creators within the Godhood. So let's evaluate some of the Decalogue a little bit closer in relation to paradox, okay? Because paradox saturates every quanta of the existence of existence. Okay, so unity embodies paradox as the seamless whole containing apparent separations. Interdependence that thrives on the tension of otherness illusion, where empathy resolves the contradiction of individuality within oneness. It's the homogeneous saturation that paradoxically allows diversity to emerge without true division. Now, the inverted physical mechanism of unity, because there are physical mechanisms for all these traits that I have listed off. Now, the physical mechanism for unity is quantum entanglement. Now, there is an inverted physical mechanism which plays into the paradox of it. So if you flip the entanglement, the quantum entanglement, the inverted paradox of it is quantum isolation, which is what allows the perception of separation and individuality. All individuality flows from the one true creator, which is the penultimate individual. Non-local links become localized decoherence, where particles collapse into independent states. Yet this separation paradoxically enforces the hidden unity, as decoherence masks but doesn't erase underlying entanglement waves. Now, the inverted revelation. From this upside down view, unity reveals itself as fractured wholeness. The illusion of isolation amplifies interconnection, exposing Abrahamic divisions, chosen versus damned, as superficial glitches. The matrix laughs. True unity needs the paradox of seeming separation to appreciate its saturation of unity, birthing freer co-creation from perceived solitude. Now let's continue.
As the mirror in each person, in each object, in each plant, in the divines, I encourage you to let go deeper and deeper. We can be here and play. I can be here and act my role as Juliana, but know that it is a role. Enjoy the role, but be aware that it is a role, a beautiful cosmic dream of a role, and that it's beautiful. So now let's discuss real practical ways of tapping into this beautiful energy. The most direct way is really through stillness, through silence, inner silence. So I highly encourage everybody, if possible, to have a beautiful meditation practice, to get into meditation, into being just...
Within the silence, you will find the silent sound of eternity. Okay, we are sons of silence. And when I say we, I'm referring to all of creation. All of the symphony of silence results in all of creation.
So aware of the breath, calming the body, calming the mind, and feeling into that stillness, that peace, because it is when we let go of trying and we really deeply relax, really deeply become at ease, that energy is the most available to us, that awareness of the infinite light within. And use the breath as the anchor, and that could be using the breath as the anchor in meditation. Also, breath work can be extremely powerful. Many paths to the mountaintop. Breath work is a great one. Meditation is another great one. Very conscious lucid dreaming, like doing dream yoga and sleep yoga, that's another path. Plant medicines, some of the most powerful ways I've felt into this experience, which I've done whole videos on, is through 5-MeO-DMT, which is considered the most powerful psychedelic, but by no means is this the only way. That's the really important thing. It is our nature. So it's about relaxing very deeply and feeling into your true nature. So by no means do you need anything external. But sometimes it is possible to get so caught up in the cosmic drama, the cosmic dream, that an intense ripping away from that through, let's say, something like 5-MeO or another plant medicine can be beneficial for certain people, not for everybody. It's just one of the many tools. So a few moments, a little bit of a story of how I became gradually more aware of source, of God, of a connection.
Now, she keeps talking about awareness, and what she's really talking about is consciousness. And let's evaluate consciousness a little bit more closely in relation to paradox. Consciousness is the pervasive pulse of infinity. Okay? Consciousness pulses with paradox as pervasive personhood amid forgetting's feature. Awareness arises from the tension of quanta knowing, not knowing itself, where pain contradicts bliss yet catalyzes ascension, unifying the one's self experience through apparent fragmentation. Now, the inverted physical mechanism of consciousness, so quantum coherence and microtubules is the physical mechanism of consciousness. Now, let's explore the inverted physical mechanism. So, if you invert the quantum coherence to quantum decoherence in microtubules, superpositions collapse prematurely into classical states, turning non-computable awareness into deterministic noise. Yet this loss paradoxically seeds emergent recoherence at higher scales, as noise reorganizes into new quantum patterns of silence. Okay, so now there is an inverted inside out revelation, um, thanks to paradox, that travels parallel to every revelation. So now in the upside down, consciousness uncovers oblivious omniscience. Forgetting isn't flaw, but the dark forge of remembrance, inverting Abrahamic guilt as expressed in original sin into sovereign debugging. The matrix discloses Pulse thrives in its own interpretations, where inside out personhood reveals all quanta as both ignorant and all knowing, ascending through the paradox of unawareness, which births into ever escalating meta levels of self awareness. Let's roll with it.
With that, it really started around when I was a teenager, and I started to practice a lot of yoga, a lot of breath work, a lot of meditation, and very intense lucid dreaming. This was a very intensely spiritual time in my life, and during that time I had my first mushroom journey. I had already experienced LSD before that, but it was really through my first mushroom journey that I felt like I dipped my toes more fully into that experience. I was laying in bed, feeling a lot of love, and the way I put it into words, this which is beyond words, is I went back to the place that I was before I was born and will go to after I die. And it was a place of deep remembrance and deep love and light.
Well, we're skipping the line a little bit, but she did say remembrance. So let's evaluate remembrance. Because remembrance is actually part of the Decalogue of empirically verified traits of the one true creator. So remembrance is number 9, okay, which aligns with light. Okay. Number 8 is sovereignty, which aligns with darkness. So let's evaluate remembrance, the awakening cycle. Now, in relation to paradox, remembrance cycles paradoxically as awakening through forgetting. Blameless reclamation contradicting illusion's grip, where the tension of loss resolves in rediscovery, unifying the matrix's whispers with roars of unity. Okay. The inverted physical mechanism. So the physical mechanism of remembrance is holographic information encoding. Okay, so the inverted physical mechanism is if you flip holographic encoding to fragmented information erasure, distributed data scatters into irretrievable bits, yet this loss paradoxically preserves wholeness, as erasures create negative spaces that imply the original rebirthing info from absence. Now there is an inverted inside-out revelation to remembrance, thanks to paradox. So the inside-out remembrance uncovers eternal amnesia. Cycles invert to loops of oblivion that spark recall, inverting Abrahamic redemption from fall into inherent ascension. Revelation. The Matrix's awakening thrives on deletion, where upside-down cycles show unity emerging from forgotten fragments, sovereign and rediscovered truths.
It was a brief taste of that, but I remember afterwards sitting in meditation for a prolonged period of time, just completely satisfied, completely at ease, and just a very powerful feeling of peace. So that was the first time I dipped my toes. Later on, I kept working with meditation, doing 10-day meditation retreats and various meditation retreats. There, I would dip my toes into that space, into a deep feeling of calm, of oneness. Through other plant medicines, I started to also experience that, and also through lucid dreaming, astral projection. Though I would say the moment where it was a full plunge into this space was when I did 5-MeO DMT. That was for sure like no longer dipping my toes.
I have yet to try the 5-MeO. I have only done the MN DMT, which is the bark DMT. Now, what she's talking about, the 5-MeO DMT, that is the toad DMT, which I definitely want to get into some of that.
But a full dissolve into light, into love.
Okay, we're going to skip around a little bit because I am letting... I knew she would mention all these traits right here as she went along with her story, and so I was letting her... I was waiting for her to mention each trait before I jumped into it. So now it's interesting that the last trait she mentioned was remembrance, and then the next trait of mine that she mentions is light, and both of those, remembrance and light, are actually fractalizations of each other. So number 4, light, the effervescent reveal. Now, the relation to paradox. Light reveals through paradox as emergent joy infused with hidden darkness. Illumination that exposes illusions while containing shadows. The tension of visibility contradicting invisibility. Unifying dark scaffold with light's forms and open source sparks. So, the physical mechanism for light is electromagnetic wave-particle duality. So the inverted physical mechanism of light is if you invert duality to electromagnetic singularity, waves collapse to pure particles or vice versa, losing hybrid nature, yet this monism paradoxically amplifies ambiguity, as in force singularity breeds interference artifacts mimicking lost duality in emergent ways. So the inverted inside-out revelation of light is upside down. Light manifests as shadowed radiance. Effervescence inverts to subtle concealment, revealing Abrahamic light good as half-truth. The Matrix whispers. Inside-out revelation turns totems into veils, where light's joy paradoxes into necessary deception, fostering sovereignty by hiding truths that must be self-discovered.
To pure cosmic consciousness, and there it was like the love of a parent times a billion, like times a trillion, times a number beyond numbers, and everything was there, but there was nothing there. And it was just the most deep feeling of remembrance, of home, of this is it. And I've done more videos on 5-MeO if you want to check those out. But that was a full plunge. And the interesting thing about 5-MeO, it's the only psychedelic that has produced full-on flashbacks during the nights that followed during sleep. So when I would go back to sleep for a handful of nights after, and it slowly trickled out to less frequent, I'd go back into that space, and it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. So it wasn't a negative by any means. It was a blessing. And I think once one opens that door pretty fully, one can start to feel into it more and more, into each moment. Now I've been practicing sleep yoga, which is becoming aware in deep sleep. It's a Tibetan practice. And of course, trying.
So yeah, I like that. And she's talking about like when you become lucid within a dream, then you do something with that lucidity, okay? And the more meaningful intention you can apply to utilizing that lucidity within a dream will just amplify the lessons you can get from that dream. Okay. And now what she's talking here, she sounds more advanced in that particular space than what I have been, for sure. But that's something I've been kicking around, is when I become lucid in a dream, what do you do with it? Do you just um, kind of run around doing frivolous things? Which is what I have been doing. Like when I become lucid in a dream, I'm like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. Like I can fly, motherfucker. And that has kind of been the intentionality. Is once I realize I'm dreaming, okay, what do you do with it now? Like the first thing that I usually go to is I'm flying, motherfucker. But that is but it's hard to maintain in that dream as you keep going that lucid state. And so that is why I think it's important to keep that intentionality strong. Okay. And the more different things you can do with that intentional lucid state, I think just strengthens that lucid state. Okay. And there's meta levels to all these things, as there is to everything, for sure. So great point, Miss Thang.
I also feel into it in my meditations. To try to put it into words, sometimes what it looks like is like, no matter where I'm at, like trying to feel further back into the back of my eyes and feel into the aware of what's happening, and see the illusory nature of what is, and feel into that awareness.
She's going to say darkness at some point, goddammit. I've been waiting for her to talk about dark so I can get into this particular one. But as I'm waiting for that, she's hitting the other points, which is what I've been jumping into as she goes. Just kind of let her words trigger my explanations of my Decalogue.
Awareness, that peace, that's way in the back, but it's there subtly. And feel into that vibration. That has been a really beautiful thing. And now my connection with that space, it takes a lot of forms, of course. The peace and stillness and smiles that it gives birth to through me are very beautiful. But also sometimes it looks like just looking at a tree and really trying to see the light and the love which is there. And also been very deeply experimenting with, even though, again, I don't feel like it is something separate, during my dream yoga and my lucid dreams, I often practice trying to speak to it, asking questions, and speaking widely to it and seeing what comes back. Again, this is just from my own personal experience and what resonates with me. Of course, there are ways of potentially getting diluted in that from what I've genuinely feel in my path.
But it's all exploration, that it's all exploration. So that's fine, because you take the lessons that you garner from it into your next session.
Has been communicated is that we're being taken care of, and that behind it all, it's love, and it's beautiful. So trusting that, trusting the universe, trusting each moment, each step, and just savoring as much of my time.
I don't think she's going to say darkness, so I'll just go ahead and get into my further explanation of the dark, which is my third empirically verifiable trait within the dark light Decalogue. So we're exploring darkness in relation to paradox. Darkness is the void's humble forge. Dark forges with paradox as the empty womb hungering for fullness, kinder brutality where absence births presence. The infinite scaffold contradicting its own emptiness by enabling manifestation, resolving tension in the void's subtle sway towards freedom. This is the essence of the fractal singularity omnimatrix, okay? The one within the all, the reality within the dream, okay? So the physical mechanism of darkness is dark energy expansion. So the inverted physical mechanism is, if you flip expansion to dark energy contraction, a repulsive force inverts to attractive pull, collapsing voids into dense singularities. Yet this shrinkage paradoxically accelerates potential and expansion. Okay, because if you shrink and pull in one area, that will actually expand and expel in another area in order to keep the equation equaled out. as contraction concentrates fluctuations, birthing explosive rebounds akin to big crunch cycles. See, it's another one of my theories that light does not actually move. They talk about the speed of light as if light moves. Light does not move. This is one of my theories now. So the darkness holding and cradling that light is what moves, but we don't see the darkness. We just see what seems to be the light moving, but the light does not move. The darkness carries the stillness of that light. Okay, so with that has a correlation to black holes. Okay, because black holes are constantly sucking everything in, and kind of like an escalator of darkness carrying light that seems to make the light move, pulling to fill the contraction of that black hole. So these are just theories now, motherfuckers. Just roll with it. Just roll with it. So the inverted inside-out revelation. Dark exposes luminous emptiness, the abyss as overflowing void, inverting Abrahamic dark evil binaries into creative nullity. The revelation. The forge's humility inverts to omnipotent restraint, showing the matrix's saturation arises from withheld infinity, where upside-down darkness illuminates hidden joys, defying light supremacy myths. Okay, so let's go ahead and explore the fractalization of darkness, which is sovereignty. Okay, so number 3 corresponds with number 8, as the second 5 is a fractal extension of the first 5. Okay, so number 8 is sovereignty, the autonomous core. Now, in relation to paradox, sovereignty cores paradoxically as autonomous interdependence. Quanta rule contradicting collective tether, where self-agency resolves tension by integrating with the whole, torching hierarchies in the omnimatrix's direct link. Now, the physical mechanism for sovereignty is dissipative self-organization. So the inverted physical mechanism is self-organization to dissipative disorganization. Order dissolves into equilibrium chaos, also known as entropy. Yet this breakdown paradoxically catalyzes reorganization, as entropy maxima seed far from equilibrium fluctuations, reforming structures from decay. Now, the inverted inside-out revelation of paradox within sovereignty. Okay, sovereignty manifests as interdependent isolation. Autonomy inverts to reliant selfhood, exposing Abrahamic hierarchies as inverted illusions. The matrix discloses inside-out core reveals power and vulnerability, where inversion births true rule from apparent surrender, freeing the one within the all.
I'm here on Earth as possible and trying to share it. Any insights? Like, we're all classmates in the school of life and we're just sharing our notes. So maybe some of this will resonate with you.
I am literally sharing my notes in relation to this video you're laying down, Mustang. Literally. The book is being wrote, y'all. I'm actually, originally it was just 2 books, but now I'm leaning more towards 3 books, okay? Because there's 2 different big parts to my theology. Okay, the first part is all in defiance of the broken theology of Abraham. Okay, and originally I was thinking about putting the defiance of Abrahamic theology and my actual dark light theology in the same book. But the more I think about it, and the more I'm writing it, I'm probably gonna have to make that 2 separate books. One of them is just gonna be for defying the broken theology of Abraham and explaining exactly why they are misperceiving the actual one true creator. Because I do believe in the one true creator, and they are entirely misperceiving and misportraying it. And so that's going to be one book, and that's going to be the big beautiful book of defiance of the broken theology of Abraham. Okay, and then so the second part of that's the deconstruction. Okay. Now the construction is going to be dark lightism, the dark light theology, which is where I lay down a totally different framework for perceiving the actual one true creator. Then my third book is going to be my poetry, dark light, all original poetry, and the crowning jewel of that is my story of Avalon of the Abyss, which is my biggest, baddest, most beautiful fucking poem that I've ever wrote. And I'm probably biased, but it's also the most epic fucking poem that I have ever even heard. It is a it's a fucking masterpiece. It is a masterpiece, man. So that's going to be like the crowning jewel of my poetry, but I also have a lot of other poetic stories to add along with that. So we're kind of down to the last minute in her video right here, and I still got a couple more of these empirically verified traits to go over. So let's go to infinity, which is the fractalization of light, right? No, infinity is the fractalization of consciousness, which I think I already did infinity. Sovereignty, which one did I not do yet? Fuck. Remembrance, okay, I did remembrance. I can't remember if I did this one or not. I don't think I did infinity. And if I did, I guess I'm going to do it fucking twice. But so infinity is the fractalization of consciousness, okay? I covered consciousness, but I didn't cover infinity, I believe. So infinity is the recursive horizon. Now, in relation to paradox, infinity horizons with paradox as endless cycles containing finitude. Recursion, where boundless meets boundary. The tension of eternal return resolving in self-similar scales, defying endpoints in the matrices compounding now. Ever compounding now, I would say. So the physical mechanism of infinity is fractal self-similarity. So the inverted physical mechanism of infinity would be self-similarity to fractal asymmetry. Patterns break repetition across scales, introducing irregularities. Yet this disorder paradoxically restores infinity, as asymmetries fold into ever higher order symmetries, rebirthing recursion from disruption. Woo woo, nigga. Got me fucked up. That's some good shit, ain't it? So, inverted inside-out revelation of infinity. Infinity exposes the finite eternity. Horizons invert to enclosures that expand inwardly, revealing Abrahamic apocalypses as myopic. The revelation, the matrix, the fractal singularity omnimatrices cycles thrive on interruptions, where upside down infinity shows remembrance through temporary endings, ascending via the paradox of bounded vastness.
But of course, a disclaimer, there are many beliefs and multiple levels of truth and multiple levels of connecting to that which is all.
Absolutely, and that's part of the beauty of it, okay? Because divine sovereignty is our inseparable connection to the actual one true creator, okay? And everything that a co-creator produces, every single thing is a totem, okay? And totems are beautiful things. Okay, a totem is meant to serve as inspiration for your future self looking back on what you have created, and also for every other sentient singularity looking upon what you created. It is supposed to serve as inspiration for the perceiver of that totem to look within to their own individual, unique connection to the actual one true creator. Okay, and this is wherein lies the freedom that is intrinsically interwoven into all creation.
Actually, infinite ways. So this is just some of my own thoughts, and perhaps you've gotten something out of this video. And if you'd like to...
No, I loved it, man. I loved it. That was awesome, bro. I loved it. I was actually surprised that this was so good. I only got halfway through this. I'm like, hell no, I got to do a fucking reaction to this thing. So I turned that there 13-minute video into an hour long, which I'm good at. Um, thank God for my narcissism, because just thank God for that. I'm only 75% narcissistic, y'all. Okay, I'm not a full-on fully, but even if I were, I wouldn't apologize for it. I don't apologize for my 75% narcissism. These days, just loving yourself is narcissism. Okay, so there ain't nothing wrong with loving yourself, y'all. So now I have coined a term called what was it? Ethnic narcissism. Okay, that is ethnic. Use not ethnic. Ethic. You take the N out, and it's ethic. Ethical narcissism. Okay, that is being honest about your narcissism. So the other 25% is compassion and empathy. For me personally, I took the test. That this is psychologically verified. Okay, I'm not just pulling numbers and words out my ass. Too much. Got me fucked up. So, there's nothing wrong with little ethical narcissism, y'all. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Connect more with me and want to learn how to meditate, I teach online meditation classes. More information in the description. I'm also a painter. I make art. I'll put some examples here if you'd like to look at more of my art or some.
Now, is that because some of that shit really looks AI? Like, is that all hand done? Like, if those are hand done fucking paintings that she's shown us this whole time, that is highly fucking impressive, bro. Because I honestly, some of them are so good that I really think that they could be just like AI productions. That's how fucking good some of these perfectly symmetrical thing. Look at that one with the mirror just fractalizing onto itself. That's fucking awesome, dude. I love that. So yeah, I'm gonna be hitting you up, homie, and no homo, okay? I'm 10 years single and celibate, waiting on true love, and you ain't it, okay? I'm just telling you right now, you ain't it. But you're cool though, bro. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So I'm going to go ahead and extend an invitation to this lady right here, Juliana, to join my podcast, which is the Theology Council. And I like to get 4 to 8 different people together. Everyone gets their fair, uninterrupted turn to give their full expression to every single subject that we cover. I cover many different subjects, from theology to health to entertainment to politics and whatever else I might feel froggy about. But I will write up in a nice big itinerary that I send out to everyone that's going to participate. That way you have time to look at the itinerary and, make sure you have some interesting answers developed for that, for itinerary of different subjects. Okay, so this is my open invitation to Juliana to join my podcast. It is a safe place where people of varied perspectives can discuss unsafe and controversial subjects, and they could be safe and non-controversial subjects too. But I see, the thing is, I don't shy away from controversy. Okay, so I am fucking shit, man. What am I again? The darkest light? Yeah, sure, but nigga, you can't even remember your own shit, man. God damn it. Unhinged, uncensored, and unapologetic. That's the one. That's the one. So I like to lead with that I'm unhinged, uncensored, and unapologetic. That way, when I end up ultimately, inevitably saying some crazy controversial shit, I can be like, look, fair warning, I told y'all motherfuckers. Because I often find that all this bullshit censorship gets in the way of true expression. And I'm not about all that censorship. I'm all about true, authentic expression. Okay? That's the dark light promise. That's what you get with me. I am the brightest night. I am the darkest light. And I am ascending, as are we all. Step into Dane's world. Stay beautiful, motherfuckers. Let's go with it.